Hello! I was trying to make a dramatic entrance there, walking over at style. Welcome to another Tweedy Outdoors video. I am in the Pewsey Vale, is it? I got the train to Pewsey. I've done some of this walk before. I will put, is the link going to be up here? Video to just over a year ago, probably my first walking / wild camping video on YouTube. And I walked from Pewsey to Avebury. Wild camps are in the hills in the middle, but today just a daytime walk, I'm afraid. A bit difficult to get away for a longer period of time still from home and work and all of that stuff. But what I thought I would do this time is, previously when I came to these parts, I followed the White Horse Trail here up, is that possibly Huish Hill over there near the village of Orr, and then sort of veered off eventually towards Avebury, but I headed more over to the west from this point onwards. What I'd quite like to do this time is see more of the hills over to the east. Don't know how well that comes out, the few pixels it occupies from the GoPro, but there is the Giant's Grave there up above the village of Orr, and then Martinsell Hill, and then hopefully, if I have time, I would like to get to see the furthest extent of Wandsake at New Buildings, just before where it peters out next to Seven Acre Forest. So we're heading that way today. According to the map, I'm in Bethnal Green. Not quite how I remember it. It is apparently, in fact, an Iron Age hill fort, the Giant's Grave, one end of Martinsell Hill. It does, from this angle, look a bit like, at least the top bit looks a bit like a long barrow in shape. Getting near the top of the Giant's Grave. Bit of a shame about the grey skies, but quite nice views despite that. A tiny bit of blue trying to poke through there. That, just tap it virtually. Apologies for the huffing and puffing. I assume the sight of the trip point there means now at the top, Giant's Grave. Just take a moment to appreciate the view. Good. Probably a good opportunity to say a quick hi to two other channels. I know I've mentioned both of these before on my channel, but both relevant to the location I'm in today. So first of all, Allotment Fox, I think, has quite recently produced a video, never know which corner, put a link to that in there, and he will give a lot more historical insight into some of the monuments in this area, as opposed to my standard, what I did on my holidays approach to narration, oration, whatever you call it. And the other one, Open-Minded Wanderer, again, I think a recent video, Martinsell Hill, whichever corner, I still haven't figured that out. Once again, we'll add some interesting historical context to this location that I was too lazy to do the research for myself. Well, fairly sure there's meant to be a footpath there, and you can see the sort of gully that it follows. Not much in the way of a stile. I have to just clamber the fence, I think. Yes, I forgot to mention in the intro blurb, I have brought things to make lunch along with me, so it's another sort of a bit like a daytime camp, if that's a thing. And it's probably not the most wonderfully scenic spot I'll visit today, but that's pretty nice as views go. And I thought this gorse bush might provide me with a bit of shelter to do a little bit of cooking. How about that? Nice little clearing in the gorse bushes. It's not particularly flat, but you know, I'm on the side of a hill here, so what do you expect? Right then, well, for lunch today, I thought I would do sausages and mash here in a gorse bush. I have brought along, I know how much you love watching me chop things, so I brought along an onion to help make the base for the gravy. Just instant mash, cheating a bit. Sausages, some broad beans as well. I love broad beans. So what do we need to do to start with? I'm going to boil some water to both cook the broad beans and to rehydrate the instant mash. Very chefy. So gas stove today. Good old trusty billy can. Put some water in that and get that boiling. While the water's coming to the boil, know how much you love watching me chop vegetables. So I'm gonna chop up this onion. Sorry about the jerky camera work. This is kind of a two-handed job. One day I will buy a proper tripod. Maybe. Maybe not. But once again, this knife, not the absolute best in the world for fine sous chef work. But it just about does the job. Look at that, we have a rolling boil. So that was a lot quicker than I expected. That means we need to get this pan on ASAP. And what I need to find with some expediency is this. How cute is that? This was my wife, my daughter went on holiday a couple of weeks back while I was off in when I did the Dartmoor trip, and they picked up this miniature bottle of olive oil, which is absolutely perfect. I mean, no, olive oil is not usually ideal for frying, is it? But anyway, the format of that, the weight, the size, absolutely perfect for just taking along enough oil to fry with. Very, very pleased with that. Thanks. So I think we can take the billy can off for now. Let that sit there for a moment, and on with the frying pan, and then maybe straight in with the why mess about? Straight in with the onions. And also, here come the sausages. Nondescript sausages. Got a bit more water than I actually need. I'm going to do something I very rarely do, and have a coffee so I can strain a bit of that off. So some amount of the, it's frying nicely now. Some amount of the instant mash powder can go in there. I'm a bit approximate with that. Give that a stir. It's more like soup. Brought along a very modest bottle of Burgundy. This is some Bourgogne Haute Côte de Nuit from Gavinier, one of my favourite producers, vineyard called Clos des Dames Huguettes, which I think is that somewhere like, I think it's close to Nuit Saint-Georges, can't remember exactly. And I'm going to partly use some of that for cooking. Going to deglaze that pan momentarily, so rather than gabbering on about the wine, I should get on and do that before that burns. Forgetting about my coffee there. Cheers, coffee cheers. Sorry for the slurping noise, it's just a bit hot. There is a shot of some coffee and some gorse. How are the onions doing there? You want them to be kind of nice and brown and caramelised. Is it about time to deglaze yet, do you think? What do you reckon? You know, when it's starting to burn, but just before it's starting to burn, let's put a slosh in. There we go. always pretty satisfying. Feeling quite Keith Floydy at the moment. I should have a slurp, shouldn't I? But I want to finish my coffee first. I don't want to sort of switch back and forth between coffee and wine. That would be weird. Coffee now done. Broad bean flavoured coffee. That definitely must be a thing. Couldn't really taste the broad beans. For those of you from outside the UK, you might call those fava beans, maybe. I'm only used to calling them fava beans when they're dried first and they've gone brown. The fresh ones I would always call broad beans, but your mileage may vary. I'm going to slosh some wine into this glass now. I think it's about time. Bring out my inner Keith Floyd. Here's to cooking in a gorse bush. Cheers. You know what, for bargain basement Burgundy, that is bloody beautiful. Good bit of alliteration there. The component of aforementioned wine went into the start the base of the gravy is nicely reducing now. Oh, that is good. Really concentrated, fruity. It's you know, it's basically a Nuit Saint-Georges in anything but name. It's fresh, but it's rich. No tannins to speak of. Lovely berry fruits coming out of that. Gorgeous. Really nice. And it will be good in the gravy as well. A possibly less Keith Floydy component of this is small jar of gravy granules. Keith Floyd, of course, would have made a stock overnight by reducing the bones of some carcass of something or other. The bones of a carcass, just the carcass, one or the other. Gravy granules, you know, I like because they add a bit of umami. Well, I'm gabbering away there, it's burning a bit. And thicken the sauce as well. I'm going to get on with doing that before it all burns. So I added some water there, which was more of a two-handed job. And then the sprinkling of Bisto. Any pretensions towards chefiness have just gone out the window with that move. Who cares? I'm cooking in a gorse bush. Okay, the water added to make that gravy has come to a simmer. Got a sort of just about the right texture now. Could perhaps be a tiny bit thicker, but I think that will probably do. Nice and gloopy. Looks like that's full of umami. It's going to be good. I'm going to turn the gas off and do a final bit of plating up. There we have it. The finished dish. Tweedy Outdoors' sausage and mash in a gorse bush. It's got a red wine and caramelized onion gravy. I think it's actually a slightly cheddary mash with broad beans. With that view in that gorse bush, I am looking forward to that. I'm going to try not to drop it while I'm messing around here with a camera. I think I might just get on and eat that. Or do you want a shot of me, you know, trying it and going, oh, that's really nice. Of course it's really nice. Quick taste test, and then I will just get on and eat it after that. Broad beans cook quite nicely, actually, considering they started frozen and I pretty much just turned off the billy can as soon as the water came to the boil. Then left them to sit there. That is nice. Try a bit of this gravy. It's rich, unctuous, a bit of sweetness from the caramelized onions. And then a bit of the nondescript sausage. Oh. Wow, that is an absolute resounding success. I feel like I end up saying that every time. Recently I do a camp cooking meal, but I think that might be the best thing I've ever cooked on a camp stove. And it's probably getting on for 100% of my RDA of salt. Which is why it's so good. Absolutely delicious. I will switch you off for a bit and just get on and eat that. That was fantastic. Okay, hashtag leave no trace. Thank you, Gorse Bush. That was a lovely spot to sit for lunch. Really appreciated that. Would have liked to linger longer, perhaps have a few more glasses of wine even, but alas, time is pressing, and if I'm going to get to see the end of the Wansdyke, or should I just say the end of Wansdyke? I keep saying the Wansdyke, but people don't say the Offersdyke, do they? So I believe it should just be Wansdyke. Anyway, whether or not the definite article belongs before aforementioned earthwork, I'm heading over to the end of that. Nice view.